So imagine it's a Sunday morning around 7 a.m. and you're getting ready to join your husband of 3 years on your 30-foot powerboat that you guys keep, docked in your canal home. And well, you notice that while you're driving to the destination in the boat, he seems very angry. He seems irate and just not even talkative. Okay. You arrive to the destination, which is about 33 miles off the coast. And he immediately starts fishing. You stay there, you kind of just support him there. And however, you see that he gets very upset because his line snaps. To avoid an argument, you jump into the water with a pool noodle just to kind of give him some time to cool off. And you kind of hold on to the rope that's attached to the boat. All of a sudden, see that husband of yours of 3 years come to that rope and untie it and put the boat into gear and drive off. Stephanie shares that she was certain that the purpose of the husband leaving her there was to leave her out there to die. However, in a short distance from them, you could see another boat, which is why she thinks that he turns back around and picks her up. However, instead of picking her up and saying, "Oh my God, are you okay? I'm so sorry," whatever, he starts punching her repeatedly and stomping on her. Stomping on her head to the point that she was actually blacking out. She was coming in and out from consciousness. She said that the only way that she felt that she could leave or she could survive this was to act as if she was dead. She slowed her breathing and remains motionless, so at least he could stop hitting her. At this point, he drags her by her hair to the rear of the boat and into the water. The defendant, which is here Douglas, places both hands around her throat, attempting to strangle and drown her in the water. As he's doing this, he's saying, "I'm going to effing take your life." She states that she was grasping for air and salt water was coming out of her nose. However, this other vessel, this other boat that they saw, starts coming closer to their location. She says that is the reason why he let her go. He left her in the water, though, battered and gasping for air. He puts the boat in drive and leaves. The victim shares that she is able to interlock her feet around the ladder at the rear of the vessel and hold on. However, he eventually stops the boat and she climbs back in, utilizing that ladder. When he notices, though, that she is on the back of the boat, again, he starts to repeatedly punch and stomp her. He then drags her to the back of the boat and once again throws her overboard. The victim, Stephanie, shares that she saw a rope dangling from the rear of the boat. And well, right before he starts driving away, she decides to wrap it around her right ankle. The victim, Stephanie, gets dragged behind the boat for several minutes before she was able to pull herself back onto the rear of the boat. Ma'am, why is we going back into... Okay. You know what? I don't know what I would do. So kudos to you that did everything you could do to survive. Again, he is driving and all of a sudden notices, gosh darn it, she is back on the boat. The defendant Douglas lets the boat continue driving on its own as he goes back to once again beat and stomp on her. As they get closer to the residence, keep in mind, she knew she was 30 plus miles out. She says she had to actively stay in control of the boat, or he had to actively stay in control of the boat to navigate through the canal of their dock. So the canal is very narrow. That's when the boat slows down and thankfully she decides to jump onto the dock and run to the Holmes Beach Police Department, which is a short distance from their residence. This was at 1:30 p.m. At this point, they actually state that they see him fleeing in his pickup truck. She had to be transported to the hospital for her injuries. She suffered a concussion and multiple contusions. Her head and face were swollen and her right eye was completely swollen shut. She had bruises on her arms, neck, and face. This is insane to me. Thankfully, he has now been arrested, and thankfully, he is being held without bond. Now, what's crazy about all of this is that during the bond hearing, one of the detectives testifies about the condition of the boat and the victim, stating that there was blood and smears everywhere around the boat, and that you could see injuries all over her body, her head, her face, her arms, her foot, her ankle, and her lower back. Again, they went ahead and they reached out to other people just trying to get information. A witness came forward and said that they saw him driving the boat, and that the man asked him to take the female, so the victim, back to shore with him. He declined, and the boat sped off. The witness didn't see her, but said that she appeared to be a girl on the floor of the boat under an umbrella. This is insane to me. Thankfully, she is still alive. As I mentioned before, he is being held without bond, thankfully so. In fact, the judge specifically stated incredibly concerning allegations of multiple attempts to take the life of the victim. She also said he poses a high immediate danger to the victim. And they also shared that he had actually filed for divorce, for a dissolution of marriage in June, but she hadn't been served yet. So we were going to have a boat day. Okay. This is insane.